Artificial intelligence? I mean, you hear that term everywhere these days, right? It's all over the news, it's on your phone, and it feels like it's changing everything. But here's the thing. Do we really get what's going on under the hood? So that's what we're going to do. We're going to break it down. I mean, you're using it all the time to get quick answers, to translate stuff, maybe even to unlock your phone with just your face. But have you ever really stopped to wonder what's actually happening behind the curtain? Let's dive in and see how this all really works. All right, so first things first. Before we can dive into how AI works, we kind of have to get on the same page about what it even is. Okay, so the textbook definition is right there. It's a field of computer science all about making machines do things that would normally take a human brain. And that's really the heart of it, right? It's all about trying to replicate or at least simulate what we humans do naturally. And look, this isn't some far-off sci-fi concept. It's already here, running in the background of our lives. You know, when you ask ChatGPT a question, that's AI. When your phone's photo app automatically tags your friends, yep, that's AI too. Or even when you're playing a video game and the opponent seems to learn your moves. That's it, right there in action. It's all about teaching computers to do these things we thought only people could do. So how does a machine go from being, just a dumb calculator to doing something that feels, well, intelligent? It's not magic, I promise. It's actually more like a recipe, and it only has a few key ingredients. So, at its absolute core, you're building AI with just 3 things. First, you need data, and I mean tons of it. This is the textbook, the raw material, the stuff the AI learns from. Then, you need algorithms. These are like the instructions, the set of rules that tells the machine how to process all that data. And finally, holding it all together is mathematics. It's the language that makes the data and the algorithms actually work together. Okay, so what does that learning actually look like in practice? Let's use a super simple example. Teaching an AI to recognize a cat. First, you just drown it in data. We're talking millions of pictures of cats. Then the algorithm gets to work. It starts digging through all those images, looking for common patterns. It's not thinking, oh, that's a cute cat. It's just noticing, okay, there are a lot of pointy ears, a lot of whiskers, a lot of these specific eye shapes. After all that, when you show it a brand new picture it's never seen before, it makes a prediction. It says, based on all the patterns I've learned, there's a 99% probability that's a cat. All right, so we get that AI is all about finding patterns in data. But where does that all happen? Like, what does the brain of an AI actually look like on the inside? Let's peek behind the curtain. Well, believe it or not, the structure of most modern AI is inspired by the most powerful computer on the planet, our own brain. It's a concept called an artificial neural network. The easiest way to think about it is like this. Imagine layers and layers of virtual neurons, all stacked on top of each other. Information comes in the first layer. Let's say it's just raw pixels from a photo. That layer processes it and passes its result to the next layer, which might start to recognize simple shapes like lines and curves. That layer passes its findings to the next one, which might combine those shapes into objects like a tail or an ear. And it keeps going layer by layer, getting more and more complex, until the very last layer makes a final call, like, okay, that's a cat chasing a ball. And this is the exact architecture behind the tools we're all using. Take ChatGPT. It's built on a special kind of neural network called a transformer. What makes it so amazing is that it's specifically designed to understand context, to pay attention to how words in a sentence relate to each other, even if they're far apart. That's the secret sauce. That's why it can generate text that sounds so uncannily human. So, you've probably heard people talk about AI models having, billions of parameters. What on earth does that mean? Well, just think of them as millions or even billions of tiny little adjustable knobs inside that neural network. The entire training process is basically the AI trying to find the perfect setting for every single one of those knobs, twisting and turning them until it gets the most accurate answers possible. Okay, but a lot of these ideas, like neural networks, have been around for decades. So that brings up a huge question. Why is this all exploding right now? Why did AI suddenly go from being this niche academic thing to something that's, well, everywhere, seemingly overnight? Yeah, It turns out it wasn't just one single eureka moment. It was more like a perfect storm, a collision of three key things that all came together at just the right time to unlock all this potential. So, what were those three magic ingredients?
It really boils down to these three things hitting their stride all at once. First, big data. Suddenly, thanks to the internet, we had this unbelievable planetary-scale library of text, images, and code for AIs to learn from. Second, powerful computers. And here's the funny part. It was GPUs, the graphics cards built for making video games look awesome, that turned out to be absolute beasts at the specific kind of math AI needs. And third, we just got smarter algorithms. New designs, like that transformer model we talked about, were just way, way better at learning. You take away any one of those three, and this AI boom just doesn't happen. And when we say powerful computers, I really want you to understand the scale we're talking about here. It's mind-boggling. To train just one of these big, top-tier AI models, you're looking at thousands of specialized computers all running flat out 24/7 for not just hours, but for days, sometimes even weeks. The amount of energy, the cost, it's just astronomical. Okay, so this all leads us to the big one, the question everyone wants to know. With all this incredible power, does this thing actually think? Is it conscious? Is there a ghost in the machine? So, is it thinking? Well, here's the crucial difference. When we humans think, it involves consciousness, real reasoning, genuine understanding of the world. AI, as amazing as it is doing something very different. It's an expert pattern matcher. It's brilliant at finding incredibly complex mathematical relationships in data to make predictions. Let me put it this way. It doesn't understand what a cat is. It just knows, statistically, what pixels tend to look like when we label them cat.
All right, so let's tie this all together. What have we learned? 1. AI learns by training on just absolutely massive amounts of data. 2. It uses math, algorithms, to find patterns in that data. 3. The most advanced AIs use these things called neural networks, which kind of act like a virtual brain. But the most important piece of the puzzle, the thing to really remember, is this. It's all about finding patterns. It isn't thinking the way you and I do.
And that leaves us with one last big question to chew on. We know right now that AI is just a prediction machine. It's not a thinking, conscious being. But as its predictions get better and better and more human-like, what happens when we can't tell the difference anymore?